You should probably make the arrow to go with your mini-map. Where's the arrow?
3D arrow.
Now
next.
make the arrow.
Fine. I was going to do it anyway. Come on.
Take me on a ride with my eyes open wide.
So building an arrow that you'd follow like you do in a game like Need for Speed seems simple enough as a premise, but there are definitely some complications and problems that arose whilst building it that were unexpected. For example, let's say we wanted to drive from here. All the way over to here. So as we drove here, what was the arrow actually pointing at? Was it this destination? Was it the next step along the route? Or was it something else entirely? Let's see how I figured it out. So let's just take a moment to think about this and the problem of what does the arrow point at? Because I've started this journey going in the wrong direction. I'm going south. And if the arrow was pointing at my final destination, it would be kind of facing backwards right now. Now, that might tell me the general direction to go in, but it wouldn't guide me there in the way that these video game arrows do. So maybe instead, it needs to point at the next junction or major turning of the road. At least that would be showing me the right kind of direction. But again, on a long sweeping right-hander like this, it would be pointing sort of over to the right, whereas it should be telling me go straight ahead and follow this road. So it turns out there is a solution. And the solution is point a certain number of meters ahead on the path that I'm traveling down, but increase that distance when I'm going faster. Because driving on these little 20-mile-an-hour roads, a distance of, say, 60 meters ahead is absolutely fine. But when we go somewhere where we can pick up a bit more pace, suddenly that 60 meters is swallowed up in a couple of seconds and it doesn't give you time to react. So, as we get faster, the distance ahead on the path needs to increase. And knowing this opened up a whole second issue. If you use Google Maps or Waze APIs, you can get the lat long of the next junction, or you can get it of your endpoint, but you can't query every tiny little step on the path, which meant I need to build my own satnav tracking application, which I could do it with. The problem is, I've not built a mobile app before, and I've definitely not built my own custom satnav. But I'm not the kind of person that lets a little fact like not knowing how to do it get in the way. So building a mobile app for the first time, specifically this mobile app, which is the one that I built using Android Studio in Kotlin. Pretty daunting, making a mobile app for the first time? Yeah, I guess. But I do have 30 years of experience and, know 12 other programming languages really well. So doing this in Kotlin with Jetpack Compose and utilizing a lot of the various Mapbox APIs wasn't too bad because it is similar in a lot of ways to a bunch of things that I already know. If you've got a good basis of all that stuff from other programming languages, picking up something like this actually isn't too bad. But now we're getting to build really cool mobile apps like this one. So how does this one work? Now, I'm not going to get into all the nooks and crannies because it's unnecessary, but what it does predominantly is utilize a bunch of different Mapbox APIs. So we've got the map generation API, which shows the map. We use their routing API, which will allow us to draw the path that we're going on. And we use their navigation API in order to track where we are and where we need to be at any given time. Oh, and I also use their search API. So if I put a location in, let's say Starbucks, what it's going to do is create a route from where I am now to Starbucks. Pretty simple, but unlike just using Waze or Google Maps, I have access to every single one of the tiny little lines that makes up that path, which means I can then run calculations on it. So 5 times a second, I update where I am, I look at my speed, which I can get from the navigation API. I then count all the tiny little steps along the path until I get to the specific number of meters ahead that I need. And then that generates me a latitude and longitude of my endpoint that I need to be pointing at. Then I can look at the bearing of the angle that I'm traveling. So if I'm going due north, my angle is 0. If I'm going due east, my angle is 90 degrees. And let's say I'm going straight north and my endpoint is 45 degrees to the right, towards the east. That would mean my endpoint bearing is a relative bearing 45 degrees to my direction of travel, because that's the key point. You have to say, where is the endpoint relative to where I am moving now? So let's say it is 45 degrees to the right, then I take that 45 degrees. I've built a BLE service on top, so I can press this set button. I can find the Bluetooth device, which happens to be my ultimate gauge board, and then I can send it that relative bearing as a Bluetooth characteristic, whatever interval I want. I happen to be using 500 milliseconds. So twice a second, I'm sending the new relative bearing to the screen, and then the screen does what it needs to do in order to draw me an arrow. That's about it. It took me 2 weeks because I've not done any of this before, but it was actually really fun. And I think when I expand on this further, it's going to be a really cool app. But for now, it works. And sometimes it works is enough. So that's how the app works. So let's go back out into the car, take a little look at the other side of the equation and how that bit works. So the arrow, how does it actually work? Now, at the moment the car is on. It's not running, but the ignition is on. But there's nothing on the screen because it doesn't need to be, because we're not going anywhere at the moment. If I was to put a location in, it'll spring to life. But there's also another way I can just bring it up to show you what it looks like. And it's because I've got this extra section in my Need for Speed menu now. So if I just use my rotary to go to the navigation section, in here, we've got some options for this navigation arrow. So if I click on, let's say, pitch, and start to change this, the arrow will come on. And as I move the pitch up and down, you'll see we move the pitch of the arrow. So we can change what it looks like from a design perspective. Similarly, if I go to rotation, we can set the default, like where is forwards rotation, and the field of view will zoom me in and out, and roll will shift it like rolling it left and right. The idea behind this was the fact that I didn't know that I was going to install the screen here front and center to begin with. I thought I was going to put it down to the right. But when I originally mocked it up down to the right, I was like, I don't know if actually the arrow being straight forwards is going to feel like it's pointing straight. It might need to feel like it's pointing off slightly to the left. Similarly, the pitch, I designed it based on how the game looks for Need for Speed when you sat underneath the arrow, but you sat underneath the arrow when the arrow's above you. If it's down to the right, you might want to change the pitch so that it's a little bit more representative of feeling that it's down to the right of you and still pointing in the direction you want to go. So those settings just allow you to fine-tune the where is straightforward. Now that I've got it set up, I'm never going to touch these menu options again. But I think one of the most interesting things about it is the fact that it is actually a real 3D object, which I made in Blender, rendered in a real 3D digital space. When I'm changing that roll and that pitch, and I'm actually moving the camera angle relative to the arrow. The arrow is always just pointing straight forwards. I'm just shifting the camera of where it's looking at that arrow. Now, I was able to do this because I found a project on Reddit by Cube Coders who'd made a 3D game rendering engine that worked on ESP32. That allowed me to create a 3D object file, which is what this arrow is. It's just a .obj, set up the camera, set up the scene, set up all that stuff, and then just render it into the screen. It's worked very, very well. So full credit to them. I'll link to their GitHub repo down in the description where you can get Jet. So the app is obviously constantly figuring out these new relative bearings. All it does is send it to this screen via BLE every 500 milliseconds. So this then rotates the arrow to that new relative bearing in a linear motion every 0.5 seconds. And it's about as simple as that. I think that's everything. We good to move on? Next bit? Yeah. Groovy. So it all works in theory, but does it work in practice? Well, it's time to find out. We've come to the iconic Showcase Cinema here in Bristol, and my lovely partner Ali, who's behind the camera, is going to choose a location. I'm not going to know where it is, and we're going to see if the arrow can actually guide us there. Does it work? Time to find out. Let's get on the road. Right, so I need you to find me a location. Not too far, please. And yeah, just pop it in the search. I assume we're going to leave the car park.
Okay, done. I just
Okay, it's telling me to go right. I'm going to assume it just doesn't know which way I'm pointing right at this moment because it'll do that when we start. We're off. We're going straight. Fortunately, it's bank holiday Monday. First thing in the morning because it's going to be outrageously hot and it means there's nobody about. Right, follow the road round to the right. Good. So this is going to be the real challenge. It's like junctions and stuff, like roundabouts. Which way am I going? Oh God, oh, left. Where am I going from here? Yeah, I'm going left, okay. Oh, my face camera moved and I missed my junction. Well, that's what I get for not concentrating. To left. Have you chosen Euro car park
I have.
as a location?
Congratulations.
We've made it to Euro car parks.
Where else are you going on a bank holiday?
I mean, yeah, that is true. Let me just turn around. It's a gravel car park. You can't not turn around like that. Okay, well, we made it to Euro car park. I mean, it was 4 junctions, and I missed one of them because my camera here decided to do a little rotation and I changed my focus, but works. Awesome. I think that's decent proof that this thing works like it's supposed to do. And I know what you're thinking now, right? How can I get this myself? Well, the code for this little screen is on a repo. This is powered by an ultimate gauge board. I don't have very many of those left, but you can get them. There are links to all of that stuff down in the description. The app, I'm just going to put a little bit more polish on, but I will make it so you can download it, install it on your Android phone as an APK. In time, I'll get it on the Play Store, but it's not quite there yet. iPhone users, sorry, I'm not porting it. It's too much work, and I don't have that kind of time. Anyway, another successful project built. This one might be my favorite so far. It is very, very cool, and it works super well. What UI element from the Need for Speed series should I do next? Let me know in the comments, and I shall see you in the next video. Take it easy, peeps. Bye-bye. The fact that I missed the junction is actually pretty funny.